Welcome to the rap lab. Rap lab, rap lab, rap lab. Welcome to the rap lab, rap lab, rap lab. Welcome to the rap lab, rap lab, rap lab. Welcome to the rap lab, rap lab, rap lab. Welcome
Ladies
to
and
the rap
gentlemen,
lab.
it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's all new episode of the Rap Lab Podcast. It's your boy, Big Bad Hoochie Daddy himself, the king of Hoochie Daddy Summer. It's your man, the candy man, the ALFRE to the D, and I got plenty of candy for the ladies, you heard?
What up, what up? It's the one and only, the only one, the Red Barber MC. All caps, no spaces, baby.
It's the Dr. QG with the PhD. When you need your hip hop fix, come see me.
You give out prescriptions, doctor?
Yep, a whole lot of prescriptions. In
All right.
fact, the line was so backed up around the corner, I had to tell them come back later.
Well, you heard him. You need your hip hop fix. You go see that man. Pills, perk, weed, whatever you need. Go see QG. But
All legal, all legal.
all legal, by the way, all legal. So this week on the Rap Lab, we gonna look at the news and see what's going on in hip hop. Give y'all our take on what's going on. But before we begin, I just want to say that our thoughts is with Lil TJ, who got shot over the weekend. He's in a coma right now, but we pulling for you, man. We don't like to see nobody pass away, whether we're a fan of the music or not. So thoughts and prayers with Lil TJ. First up on the docket, Jadakiss on social media has been bigging up this new generation. Now, I know we the three of us are kind of fans of people of generations prior, but QG, what do you think about Jadakiss giving props to the new guys?
I like it. It shows that Jadakiss is paying attention to what's going on currently. And he said it on the barbershop show with LeBron James that's on HBO. And he name dropped them too. He said there's a couple of new lyrical kings, Drake, J. Cole, and Corday and Kendrick, and Lil Baby. And he let Naomi Osaka know, who's in a relationship with Corday, that he wants to do a track with Corday. He feels, they can do something together. He says his mannerisms are so cool, and he has bars. He put that on his bucket list that he'd love to do a song with Corday, and who knows, she may make that happen. So it's a good look. Jadakiss gets respect from everybody. So for him to take time and mention these talented MCs, it's a real good look.
Okay, Rev, what do you think?
I love it. I love that the OGs are giving a platform to the young guys. I mean, back in the day, it just was ultra competitive, and the Pioneers they ain't really passed the ball the way they should have. I felt. The Locks were lucky to have Mary J. Blige though, to have them be mentored by her, and also Diddy as well. So this is kind of like a passing of the baton, or the torch rather, with him mentioning J. Cole and Corday and Kendrick and the rest of them. And I feel like he picked a good pack over there. Lil Baby's okay too. He's of the newer generation, and he garners like the most streams and attention out of most of these guys too. So I think it's great. I love that Jadakiss, who's definitely a respected lyricist in the game, is giving such a major cosign.
Rev, let me ask you something. Do you think any of these guys can hang with Jada lyrically?
Maybe Cole and Kendrick. Corday's okay. I feel like he has his own like kind of cult fan base, if you would.
Right.
But definitely Kendrick too. Kendrick he's one of the premier lyricists and MCs.
I got a question for the both of y'all though. What did you make of him giving shout outs to my man Drizzy?
It's a good thing. I mean, Drake is one of the best artists in the game. He's been on top of his game for many years. It would be a blind move not to acknowledge Drake, because Drake also gets respect from many of the generations ahead of him. So Jada did a good look. He did a good move. I mean, you have to acknowledge Drake, because we've
Absolutely.
talked about the three-headed monster. It's always Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. It's like those guys are in competition with one another, and the fans enjoy it. So to see Jada keep his eyes on the game and see what's going on, he has to acknowledge it. to let people know, hey, I'm paying attention, and these are the people here that are hot. So it's a good thing, man.
I mean, you know how I feel about it. I like Cole. I like Corday. Shout outs to Corday because I recently just started listening to him.
Yeah, he fire.
Yeah, Corday's great. Shout outs to Lil Baby who said one of the most basic lines that made me go, "Oh shit." My man was on what was that fucking song years ago? Man, I forget the name of I forget the name of the song,
You remember the
but
line?
yeah, he said wham wham wham, bitch, I'm the baby. I was like, yo, that's actually kind of funny. But no, it was a song with him and Drake. Drip Go Hard. There we go.
Mm.
Man, I've liked Lil Baby ever since. That I don't know why that line caught me, but it caught me. My man said wham wham wham, bitch, I'm the baby. At first I used to get him confused with Da Baby, but you know.
Yeah, I did
Um,
too. When I would hear the names, I'd get them confused. But I said, oh, so y'all two different entities. Okay.
Shout out to the baby too, because he said, I'm the young CEO. Sure. But
Oh man, there you go. Always trying to plug them.
yo,
Has
man,
nothing to do with what we're talking about.
you know me, man. Shout outs to Big Sugar. Keep your head up. We
No.
riding with you. But but Drizzy, I think I like Cole, even though he should stop playing basketball in Ethiopia. And yeah,
Why
man.
should he stop playing basketball in Ethiopia?
You said why?
And he's in Canada.
Well, Canada, bro, the man played in 10 games and scored only 3 points. That's not even 1 point per game. And he was getting
It's
significant.
still
He
an
was getting
accomplishment.
significant. He was getting significant minutes, man. I could have did better than that.
And it's great representation.
Yeah,
No, it is, but you
but
can't play.
Candyman,
You can't play
Candyman,
18 minutes. You can't play 18 minutes a game and not even
Candyman.
score, bro.
I don't know why you always like to knock J. Cole for his basketball when one of your favorites didn't do so good either. In fact, a well-known NBA player actually spoke out against him and said he was not that good.
Who said that?
Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley said Master P was not that good.
Man,
He
get
was
Charles
there.
Oakley.
Unbelievable.
Get
He
Charles
was
Oakley out
there.
of here, man.
He was
Charles Oakley
there.
just
He was
mad because he got
there.
banned from
If
Madison Square Garden.
anybody knows the accounts of that, it's Charles Oakley because he was on that team. He was there, and he said that it wasn't even for the regular season; it was preseason.
Listen, man,
Wow.
So,
the
so,
man was
so come
still
on,
in
bro.
the NBA camp, bro.
If you're gonna do that to J. Cole, you might as well do that for Master P too,
The
because
man
it
was in
was
NBA
it was
training.
preseason. It was preseason, and Charles Oakley said Master P was cool, good guy, everything like that. Probably this was something. It was a hobby for him, but he just wasn't that good. This is a quote. So if you knock J. Cole, you might as well knock everybody else who tried.
No, but J. Cole never made it to an NBA training camp, bro.
It doesn't matter if he made it to the NBA training camp or not. A well-known NBA player said your favorite is not that good.
How many rings Charles Oakley
So
got?
stop going at J. Cole when J.
How many
Cole is
rings
just doing
Charles
what he
Oakley
needs
got?
to do.
How many rings Master P got?
Right. Come on, man. Don't do that.
Master P got a gold ceiling and a gold toilet and
That's
and
not
a
a
gold
championship
chandelier.
ring, though, bro. You just knocking J. Cole because J. Cole
Charles
is
Oakley
doing
don't got
something
that.
else. You
Charles
just
Oakley
knocking
don't
J.
got that.
Cole because J. Cole is doing something else.
Ain't
But
nobody,
when
ain't
but
nobody
when your
checking for
hero,
Charles Oakley.
but when your hero and your favorite gets criticized and knocked by a well-known established NBA player, you got no defense.
Nobody checking for Charles Oakley. That man is
It ain't
irrelevant.
about
That's why
checking
they.
for Charles Oakley. You brought up the basketball, bro. And
Yeah,
he's
because
was not that good. So what are
that's
you gonna
Curry.
do about it? What are you gonna do about it? Your man's was not that good. So why can't you just accept that P was not that good on the court?
Listen, if I find the footage, could you posted it on the Rap Lab social media?
Why can't you go with what Charles Oakley, a
Because
well-known
who
established
made Charles
veteran,
Oakley an
a
expert?
well-known, he was on the team and he was there through the whole thing.
Can
That's what
can
makes him an
I
expert.
feel like we always drag at this. Can we move on from this? Because we already know that P he can't ball. J. Cole trying to do his thing,
Yeah, let J. Cole do his thing, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, oh man, yeah, y'all always find a way to slight the colonel. But anyway,
It
but
ain't no
yeah,
slight. This is facts.
but yeah, shout out to my man Drizzy, man, and shout out to Jadakiss because the last time somebody tried to from the old guard tried to show love to the new guard, everybody looked at KRS-One like he had 15 heads when he hugged Soldier Boy and said, "Welcome to hip hop." So, all right, moving on. The next the next topic of discussion here on the show. Speaking of Drizzy, the Drake album, Irv Gotti had a reaction. QG, can you talk to us about that?
Irv Gotti said that he's worried about the state of hip hop after Drake's new album, Honestly Nevermind. According to the reports, TMZ found Irv at an airport in Los Angeles. He was waiting for a cab. And he emphasized that he does have love for Drake. And he says he likes the fact that Drake could do whatever he wants. But the issue is, he said, Drake's new album is not hip hop. He could do whatever he wants, but let me stress that Drake can do whatever he wants. And they asked him, does Honestly Nevermind signify the end of rap? And Irv says, I hope it does not. As long as I'm alive, it could never be a demise of hip hop. I got to get back in the game and find me somebody that can make me feel like going to find a new DMX, a new Ja, a new Jay-Z, and serving people and bringing back hip hop. He says the album is not hip hop. And he says Drake is so strong and powerful, he could change the dynamic and go at anybody. But he says this is not hip hop. And he wasn't expecting a whole album of that sound from Drake.
Well, how does that make, what's your reaction to that?
I understand where Irv is coming from. Me, as a listener, I didn't expect a whole album of that sound either. If I'm not mistaken, the only song that's a real hip hop song on that album is the one he has with 21 Savage.
Okay.
Am I correct in that statement, Candyman?
I'm gonna go on a limb and agree with you, even though I've now here's my thing, and Rev and Q, y'all might disagree with me, but I don't think the album was as bad as people said it was. You know, like, I feel it's not a true hip hop album, but at the same time, it's different. And I feel like, and not just us, but like hip hop as a whole, have just gotten used to one sound that when we hear something that's not what we're used to hearing, or not in the norm, then that's when I feel like we automatically just say, oh, it's trash, or it's not good, or I don't like it. Because I was that same way back in the day when Kanye West 808 and Heartbreaks came out. That album grew as time has gone on in life. That album has grown on me, and that album came out in 2008. The album's grown on me. I don't view it the same as I did when it first came out. But hip hop had a negative reaction to it because it was different. So
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just want to chime in on something. I think Irv's concern is the influence that Drake has. And this album is not even listed as a hip hop album under the genre. It's listed as a house Baltimore club album. I think Irv is worried that Drake is so powerful and so influential that other people who want to come into rap will probably try to imitate the same thing that Drake is doing, and the pure essence of the hip hop sound will be lost because the new generation that's coming up under Drake will only know that type of sound and follow that formula instead of the basics that birthed the game. I think that's Irv's concern.
Understood, but now look at the comparison. When 808s and Heartbreaks first came out, everybody thought, oh, auto-tune is going to be the wave going forward. And it didn't.
But look how many people were using it, though. People still using it till this day, unfortunately.
It had its time. It had a long stretch, too.
Yeah, but it didn't take over. It didn't take over rap like everybody thought it would.
For a while it did, and like QG said, people still use it.
Eric's right.
I think Irv is reaching, bro. I think Irv Gotti is reaching. And honestly, in 2022, I wouldn't even take Irv Gotti's. I'd take Irv Gotti's opinion with a grain of salt. If I want an opinion on hip hop love song ballad duets, I'll listen to Irv Gotti. But
you can't go that hard with that.
No.
Irv has produced other records, and you heard what he said. He said Ja Rule, Jay-Z, DMX for a reason. He managed those three.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I think he's reaching. While Drake is influential, yes, but I don't think Drake is gonna make more. This album was probably a one-off. I don't see him making another album like this, especially with the reaction that he got. So I don't think hip hop is gonna shift. Why when hip hop took a dance craze or a non-lyrical craze or a drill music craze, nobody criticized. But
That's
you
not true. That's not true. We've heard criticisms, especially about drill rap. Recently, Pete Rock criticized it.
yeah, but Pete Rock criticized it, but he never said, oh, this is gonna be the direction of rap going forward.
We've heard other criticisms before, especially from Rakim. Rakim actually tweeted and said, "You are now seeing the de-evolution of hip hop. Hip hop is not just going to go up; it could go down, sideways, left, right." So we've heard and seen criticisms before.
Well, quote unquote, hip hop has been dead for a long time, bro. Before Nas said it. So, I mean, Rev, you haven't
Go
had much
on, yeah,
input.
Rev, speak on
You
it.
No,
know,
I'm waiting on y'all. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've been had something
Because
to
we
say
were
about.
going. So go ahead, Rev.
yeah.
Go
Go
on, go
ahead.
ahead.
What's your opinion?
I actually agree with Alfred. I don't think that this album is a bad record, but number one, it's not a hip hop album, and that's okay. That's the problem with a lot of like the pioneers, a lot of even the listeners. It's just the expectation of the artist itself is to be redundant, and that's it's not fair to Drake too because he gets a lot of criticism for his album sounding repetitive. And he stepped out on this one. It does kind of sound like the interludes that he has on most of his albums. I feel like he could do this because he's not really like a rapper. I look at him more like an artist. He raps, yeah, but he makes what I would like to call like world music. Like music you go anywhere and you'll hear his stuff playing. Whether it's him, whether it's unfortunately like Taylor Swift or any other mainstream artist that does numbers. He's one of those guys. So, people shouldn't be mad at him for trying something new because, like I said, they always complain about him bringing the same sound. So I'm not mad at it. It's not an album that I would go back and listen to per se. But when I heard it, I'm like, okay, I see what he's doing. This is more like, I guess, a commercial appeal where, maybe in like we were joking, like in malls or in like, you're a Foot Locker, you hear like this kind of music because it's easy going, it has like a different, it's house music, so it has a different beat, and I also want to say too, I know Beyonce dropped her single and everything like that. I don't think it's fair to compare Beyonce and Drake and what they're doing, because Drake as of late has been way more consistent. And I know Beyonce, she's definitely like tops the charts all the time and everything, but like it's not the same. It's not the same. I just hate that like our culture is just so like combative and just always wants to like make comparisons. I listen to both songs and I think it's great for both of them. I think both artists brought something very different and it gives them a little more like depth in their careers, in my opinion.
I agree with you totally. If Drake wants to do a house album, he could do a house album. Then he made it for who it's designed for, and he has the talent to, to do that, to experiment with different sounds. So if you're a hip hop fan, if you're a hip hop producer or a rapper, anything like that, but if it's not for you, it's not for you. And I agree. Like they see him as a hip hop artist, so it's like, oh, why are you making a record like that? Well,
exactly.
yeah,
And here's the other
Yeah,
thing.
Kanye did it.
for sure.
And it's not, wait, what you said? Kanye did what?
He stepped out the box. He made a gospel album. He made
Yep, that's
Yeezus.
correct.
You could even go further back. Queen Latifah did a whole jazz album.
And then if you really want to take it there, I know Lil Wayne is not the most popular person amongst us, but Lil Wayne made a rock album. So
but that was complete crap. That album, well, it wasn't good.
It had maybe two. It only had 2 songs I liked, and unfortunately, your boy Marshall was on one of the songs I liked. But anyway, but like I feel like just because you're a rapper, if you want to make an album that's not rap, then you don't have to. Kanye made that gospel album, and people was all over it like it was the Bible, So like, and so I just feel like just because you're a rapper, if you want to make a jazz album or if you want to make a gospel album, you shouldn't get criticized because. And here's the other thing, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this, and whoever gets mad at me can go ahead and get mad. But if a rapper decides to make an album that's in a genre that you don't listen to, the record is not made for you. So sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up.
Word.
And let the people who that record is intended for listen to it, and enjoy it.
I think Drake also likes to work with other artists in other genres. So when he does this type of music, he's gone on the record plenty of times to say that he'd love to do a record with Sade. So he's experimenting to reach out and expand his creativity and his talent. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Can I make one last point on the Drake situation before we move on?
Oh,
You know, even though he's made primarily rap albums, he's had records that are not in the rap genre. I'm
correct.
pretty sure the both of y'all remember he was on an Afrobeat wave a couple
Yes, he
years
was.
back. Before that, he was on a reggae wave where he was
Yes, he
talking with a
was.
West Indian accent. Nobody seemed to
Yeah.
have a problem with that. So why he makes a house record and it's a problem? Why can't he
Oh,
just
that well, that's not necessarily true because when he was on the reggae tip, a lot of reggae artists spoke out against him,
I don't know if you
calling him
remember.
calling him Drake the fake and all this. Mr.
Do you
Vegas did
remember?
that.
Do you remember the record he did with Rihanna? And he said, "Cock up your bumper, wine for me." Like
Yes.
I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, you didn't have a problem with it, but other people who come from that genre spoke out about it. And I heard the word that he did work with a reggae artist. I want to say it was Beanie, and he did vocals, but then the vocals were removed, and people were expecting to hear it because they know it was going to happen, but then it wasn't there. So people were like, "What the hell? Are you just being a culture vulture?" It kind of reminds me when Snoop did that reggae album.
Oh, and he became Snoop Lion.
He became Snoop Lion, and then hardcore reggae artists and people from the Rastafarian religion, rest in peace to Bunny Weller and people out there from there, they was saying he just took what we taught him and exploited it. So they felt that about Drake when he was using all these different types of sounds from reggae.
I don't think Snoop exploited anything, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But I just feel like people don't like things that are different when they're used to a certain thing, and I feel
I
like
agree.
that's not just a hip hop problem. That's a society and a life problem.
Yep.
It is.
People don't like change. People don't like different, and I'm not gonna lie. Like there have been times I've been guilty of it where something changes or is different, and I haven't been a fan of it because it's not what I'm used to. But that's all. Change is a part of life.
Do you know what the
Different
sad part
is a
about
part of
this
life.
album? You know what the sad part about this album, guys? And I asked you this, Candy Man. Let's say Drake does a show. You know how a rapper will do a show and they'll perform the most popular singles for the crowd?
Yeah,
Do you think any of these songs are ever going to stick around, or it's like what you said, Rev? Is it just a one and done? Just a quick bing bing, get some numbers, get some money, and you never go back to it again?
I
Because
think
have we even heard stuff from the album before that?
no. I think it's a one and done. I agree with Rev. He's probably never gonna perform any of these. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't. He may have like one or two if he's
Right.
lucky.
Maybe the
That
one
you
with
know
21 Savage.
that stick, and yeah, and that's a rap song.
It's a rap song, yeah.
But some of it, like I said, it's one of these things you could probably hear like in the mall or something. So you
They
never know,
called it
man. It's
mall music. They called it H&M music. That's what they called it in the reviews, bro.
All right, moving on. We got some sad news because I don't ever like to hear somebody with a drug addiction, but apparently the rumor is Dipset member Jimmy Jones is on crack.
Hmm. Jimmy.
I don't let me just clear the record here. I'll take ownership of that. It was just an expression. I didn't mean to put that in like the way it came off in our text message group.
But you could elaborate on why you said he's on crack.
Well, no, we know he's on crack.
There's a
because
reason for it.
he's
Let Rev go ahead. Let Rev go ahead.
all right, Rev,
Rev
explain
said
it
he's on
because
crack.
he's not literally on crack,
Say,
folks.
say,
I
say
hope
why
he's
he was
not. I mean, some of the things that he's been saying leads me to believe he's on some kind of substance that he's pretty much out of his mind. I mean, first of all, I think he just wants attention, and I pray that he's not on any kind of drug. I don't want to see that man in no kind of dire straits as far as that. That's not cool. But he should definitely be condemned heavily for even trying to speak his name in the same sentence with Rakim. You want to do a verses with Rakim? Like, after the last verses and performance What would make you think that? What would make you think that you could stand toe to toe with one of the god MCs? Like everybody's god MC. Like he looks silly up there in verses. What would make him think that he would go up here and do anything better? Any song he has would compete with anything that Rakim has. Like he. I say the crack thing because he's also like dancing, doing the weather, like lifting up his feet, and like I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. I mean, back then, if you were to say something blasphemous, you were never allowed to speak again or taken serious. And I'm at the point with this dude, like, I'm not really taking him serious anymore with his outlandish takes, especially Rakim. Like, you out your mind.
Who did Jim Jones recently say he wanted to battle in the verses?
Banks. He wanted Banks. He threw Rakim in first. Then that was kind of disintegrated. And then it got more realistic when he mentioned Banks by name. He did an interview on the Joe Budden podcast. And he said, and I quote, "I'll smoke Banks head up right now. You beg to differ." He says, "I'm a package to my drip, to my water. My stuff is a package." And he says, "It ain't just the rap age, it's the package. When I come out, they want to see Capo. It's not too many people that got the package." Well, I mean, he's like, where they going to end up at? He's talking about G Unit. He was like, what year they going to stop at? He's like, y'all think this is a nostalgic era. I'm not nostalgic. I'm still lit. There's a difference.
But he got destroyed by the locks. You do realize that if he does a versus, forget Rakim, because Rakim was smoking. But if he even did a versus against Banks, Jim Jones is gonna be the first guy in versus history to get smoked twice badly.
Yeah, he'll get eaten up, especially by a lyricist.
Yeah, rumor is he wanted another shot at Jada. Jada ain't gonna respond to that.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. This guy's on drugs. He's saying he's responsible for Kid Cudi's career. Like, somebody check this man.
He said it.
Kanye is responsible for Kid Cudi. Like, what?
Absolutely.
He said it, bro.
When did he say this blasphemy?
He's been saying a lot of stuff in these interviews, man. I don't know what's going on. When you add to the Jada thing, he told this to Hip Hop DX. He says, I would want to have a versus with Jada solo. He has to deal with me on my terms. He better be prepared when it comes to a top 3. I don't really have a list. I just got real smoke with Jada. I mean, when you look at the landscape and look at Jimmy's catalog, what does he have? What can he do? Like you guys mentioned, he just wants a redo of the disaster that happened when it was the Lox versus Dipset.
And please, if they do Jada versus Jim Jones, can we not run Michael Buffer off the stage?
Man.
I'm not gonna lie. Michael Buffer got out of there so fast.
He looked like the NWO ran the ring. He got out of there so fast.
My man, Michael, you could tell he was uncomfortable the whole time.
But you know who else jumped into this and said they want smoke with Banks too? Joel Santana. So Jimmy and Joel's apparently
they must be sharing the same.
Those guys apparently are on one, man. I don't know what's up.
Yeah, he knew his place when he challenged Memphis Bleak to stay there.
Oh no. And see, unlike Jimmy, I like Joel's, but no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Man. I don't know, guys.
When the best song in your catalog is the whistle song, there you go with the Yin Yang Twins. No. Oh, all right, I'm getting depressed. I got to get off this topic. Now, I know in the past I have criticized legends like Slick Rick for forgetting the lyrics to their songs during live performances. But this one also has to go in that category. And, Lil Wayne is the national hero of New Orleans. I've always liked Weezy. But come on, man. You got to Google lyrics from the Carter 3? Your best album?
I mean, it was the Carter 2, my brother.
I mean, the Carter 2, sorry. Your second best album you got to Google the lyrics for? You don't remember Fireman? You wrote it.
I always wondered about that. Like, how do you, like, that's
Did he write it?
No, Wayne writes his stuff.
Well,
Not
that's up for
according to
debate.
Gilly.
That's up for
See, no,
debate.
I heard a lot of Philly slang.
We've heard some
And the
stories
Carter
about that,
too.
Candy Man. They say Gilly
Fuck
wrote
you
some of
with the
that.
boy. That's Philly.
Hold on. Now, I'm gonna address something right here. I wish Theo was here to get the sound bite, but I gotta go on a rant. So first off, Gilly the Kid is a hater. That's number one, okay? Because Gilly was on Cash Money. They probably gave him a million promises and told him that and told him, oh, we gonna make you a star. You drop an album and da 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 da. And he was on Cash Money when I like to call it the Cash Money rebuilding phase, when the Hot Boys had just left, and it was Wayne, Birdman, Manny Fresh, Gilly, TQ, Boo and Gotti, and that was the whole label. And out of all of them, only the big timers and Lil Wayne dropped albums. So like and he's mad because he got left because Squad Up was supposed to be a thing that was supposed to be Lil Wayne's group, and they didn't do anything outside of mixtapes. Like, yo, Gilly's just a hater because he didn't get to drop an album. He was a ghostwriter. He wrote for Birdman. I know that much. And like, yo, and he's from Philly. And you know what I think about people from Philly in the city of Philly. So
Better watch out with that.
Well,
What do you
wait a
mean,
minute
watch out
now.
with that?
Wait a minute, Candyman. I don't know if you heard what Gilly said, but he said I penned a lot. He said Stunner gave me 200 grand when I signed, and he was like they were so in a rush to get him a deal that they didn't do the publishing right. I remember, and Rev, you could back me up. Isn't there footage of Lil Wayne wearing Gilly's chain?
Yep. The Major Figures
Can you
chain. He wore it in a video.
can you explain that, Candyman?
He probably liked how the chain looked, so he asked if he could wear it. There's nothing behind that.
Mm, something
Come on,
fishy
man.
with that. Something fishy with that, bro.
Come on, man. Listen. I wear a Q-Boro Cutz t-shirt all the time. Is there something fishy with that? Come on.
I mean, you're comparing a Q Burrows T-shirt for showing support for the good brother Rev's Barbershop to somebody who's on the label and who's an alleged writer of that said person.
Man, we out here doing conspiracy theories, man. Come on.
I mean, it ain't really much of a conspiracy theory when you got. In fact, Gilly recently said that he ran into Wayne and he stuck his hand out. Wayne wouldn't even look at him. Wayne shook it and kept moving.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at him either.
I mean, again, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Gilly is wrong.
I'm talking about Wheezy, brother. If
Listen,
Wheezy did some dirt, if it's like that, because we've heard ghostwriting allegations and all that stuff before.
listen.
If
I'll
Gilly
tell it to
helped
you
with
like
the
this.
pen, he helped with the pen, bro.
I'll tell it to you like this. When anybody that I like is wrong, I will tell you when they're wrong. I felt Lil Wayne. I felt Lil Wayne was wrong when he kissed Birdman in the mouth. I've never defended him on that. But no,
So you don't
go
think
on.
Gilly wrote for him at all?
Hell no, Gilly ain't right for him at all.
Can you prove it?
Can you prove that he did right for him?
I just told you on accounts
There's a
what
lot of
Gilly
Philly
was saying.
slang.
There's a lot of Philly slang in there. We
All
talked
right,
about the chain earlier. There's
all right.
some things out there, bro.
I'm gonna disprove that right now. So for those of y'all who know Cash Money Records and Lil Wayne's history, Lil Wayne wasn't a Blood until Mac 10 got there, and all of a sudden he thought that shit was cool, so he decided to become a Blood. It's the same. It's the same way. Like, oh, he probably heard Gilly say something with that Philly slang. He's like, oh, that shit sound cool. Let me talk like that. But I don't think Gilly wrote the fucking music. Yo, come on.
That's just you trying to create a narrative. We asked for proof. Do you think that can you actually prove that Gilly did not write for Wayne? We're
I
giving you
cannot.
accounts from Gilly, what he said because he was
Yeah,
there.
but how many times have people gone on interviews and said something and it wasn't true? Just
But
because
Gilly
Gilly
was
said he
there.
wrote for Wayne, does that
Gilly
mean
was
he wrote
there,
for him?
Gilly was there, and we saw he was there. He wasn't the DVDs like Rev pointed out.
And Gilly just clout chasing because if it was true, if the allegations were true, I'm pretty or inflammatory, I'm sure Wayne would have addressed it.
No, he doesn't necessarily have to address it. Because Wayne is at a higher stature. If he
Bro,
addressed it, then he'll lower himself to the level.
how many times have people who were there who didn't make it but somebody else made it? How many times have those people come out been bitter, Like, you know what? I'm gonna put Gilly the Kid in the Mob James category. That's what I'm gonna do.
Bro, when you're at a higher stature, you don't have to address everybody. You think Jay-Z addressed everybody that took shots at him?
No, you don't have to. Jay-Z's a
Right.
billionaire.
No, I'm talking about even when he was currently active, rap, not billionaire. When
Well,
you're at
you
a
gotta
higher
remember
stature, you don't have to say something.
You gotta remember when 50 Cent was a nobody. And he said that line
I
about
ain't
Jay-Z
talking
on
about
how to
50.
rob.
I'm,
Jay-Z
I'm
didn't
not
have to
talking about
respond.
50. I'm not talking about
Jay-Z
50.
didn't have to respond, and
I'm
Jay-Z
not talking
responded to
about
him.
50. I'm not
We're
talking
not talking
about
about 50,
50.
but I'm just bringing
I'm
it up
talking
because you're talking about higher stature and not responding.
no. You just mentioned earlier about haters and people saying everything like that. Do you know how many people accuse Jay-Z for stealing this and taking that or doing this and doing that? And he ain't going any interviews to say nothing because what does that do? That brings him down to their level and then it opens it up to be true. If you ignore it and if you don't say nothing and as big as you are, people are just going to brush it off. That's what I'm saying. It's not from rapper to rapper or anything like that. Gilly is taking it from another level, saying, I got paid this much. They messed me up with the publishing. We're talking about the business side, not just the pen. There's a difference.
I guess, but I don't know. I know, Rev. I know you have a close connection with Philly, but I'm sorry. I don't.
Eh,
I don't think that. And by the way, for all of you people from Philly out there, stop saying the word John. It doesn't sound right. Don't call a
Yes,
woman
it
a
does.
John. No, it don't.
It's not John, it's John.
Well, you would know.
Learn
You would
from
have
the
thought
Rev, bro.
you would have thought with all the time I spent in Philly, I'd have picked up on it. But I heard that shit. I'm like, why y'all niggas talk like that?
But here's the thing that's funny. Going back, because we kind of went left and went with Gilly. It's been 25 years, Wayne has been in the game, and
Yep.
to give you people the setting. This happened on June 9th, and he was at a restaurant with 2 Chainz and Mac Main, and Robin Thicke was there, and they did a duet. They did the song "Shooter" from the Carter 2 album, and Robin's doing his thing, and then that's when Wayne pulled his phone out to look to Google his lyrics to the song. He probably has never performed that song or hasn't performed that song in a long, long time. So he pulled out the phone to find the lyrics so he could go on
See, but here's
and
my
perform.
problem though. You have rappers who have been in the game longer than Lil Wayne and have probably never had to Google their own lyrics. I think if LL Cool J had a concert tomorrow and he wanted to perform Radio, which is an older song than Shooter, far older, he wouldn't have to Google it.
LL doesn't have to Google anything because he's performed radio plenty of times. He recently he had Rock the Bells. He ran through those songs like it was nothing.
I don't think Snoop Dogg, as much weed as he smokes, has ever had to Google his own lyrics.
No.
I don't think Rev's guys in Wu-Tang would ever have to Google their own lyrics. Like
But you got to remember, it's just that one song. It's just that one song. Like if Wayne was performing something else, like what you mentioned with Fireman, he probably wouldn't have to. But it's just the fact that Robin Thicke was there and he had to perform the song he did with Robin Thicke. He probably didn't remember the lyrics.
true, because
Like when right,
that's not one of the more popular Wayne songs. So
exactly.
I get your point, but at the same time,
Repetition is
it's
the
like,
way. Yeah.
then again, from my mixtape days, I only remember the songs word for word to 2 of my songs, but
And
I'm
guess who
not.
was laughing? Yeah, and 2 Chainz was in the backgrounds laughing too.
But see, this is the thing though. Wayne has thousands of songs, and I know it's hard sometimes. Like you get confused, especially with the stuff he does. I can't take it away from him though because he's a showman. I've seen him bust his ass and get up and continue like it was nothing. But he does have to be better. You don't want to start gaining a reputation of not being able to perform thoroughly, like said Miss Lauryn Hill. But as far as the lyrics, we've spoke about this on our show. Like some of our favorites have stumbled over lyrics or forgotten it. I feel like the best remedy to that is just give the mic to the crowd. Just act like you're letting them say it. If you stumble on it, you got to be a little more slick, a little more smooth with it. I ain't gonna lie, I've been on stage and I've forgotten a bar or two, and I've had to freestyle it. Lucky I'm not like these guys who everybody knows every single word to my stuff. But there's little ways that you could kind of like mask it and get over it in your performance and stuff. But like, I don't want to take it away from him because this man has done tours in many, many countries and thousands and thousands of shows, and maybe it's just late in his career and he's just not taking it serious. I don't know, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Totally. In fact, Candyman, you'd like this. He actually busted out the shoulder shimmy.
He did
Yeah. He did the shoulder shimmy at the restaurant.
that shoulder shimmy is one of the most impressive dance moves I've ever seen.
Totally.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap it up, and we do have an edition of Erik's sermon by the Rev to get to, but I just want to bring up one thing, fellas. Did any of y'all see the BET Awards this weekend?
Saw some of it.
Bits
and pieces.
There's something I want to bring up, and I know we didn't have this in the format, but I was so compelled by what I saw, I had to bring it up. And this actually ties in back to last week, as you know, Rev said he would have took Shine Poe off the Lil Wayne track last week, but Shine performed at the BET Awards, and I kind of was thinking, even though he wore his politician suit, he did perform, and I enjoyed his performance, even though he did change the word to bad. He changed some of the words to bad boys, but did any of y'all see the footage of Shine performing or no?
Yes.
I did not.
Well, so pretty much what happened, BET gave Diddy the Lifetime Achievement Award, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Puppet Daddy, whatever the fuck you want to call him.
Well deserved, Puff. Congratulations.
And he came out and they performed a tribute to Bad Boy. And one of the tributes, Shine came out and was performing Bad Boys. Now, I'm not a fan of changing the lyrics to songs, but as a politician and believes who is currently people, he can't talk about the stuff on Bad Boys that he talked about 20 years ago. But nonetheless, I think Shine still got it.
He sounded good.
He didn't sound like
really
the Shine
good on that stage.
He didn't sound like the Shine that just got out of jail and got deported. You know, he sounded like the Shine that we first originally heard.
Yeah. He was well polished on that stage. He performed very well. The vocals were very, very clear.
And for somebody who hasn't performed live in a very long time, he didn't move stiff. His movements were on point. If he wasn't a politician, I think Shine could have made a comeback album, because, you know, there is the Candyman Comeback of the Year award that QG doesn't like so much, but
I have no issue with it.
Oh, well. You have an issue with the 2012 recipient.
If you want to give your comeback award, you can give your comeback awards. The same reason you could give your comeback award for the guy who didn't even make it in the preseason, but that's for another story.
Come on, I thought we was over that, but anyway.
We are, but you like to bring up QG doesn't like when I give out the comeback awards. So.
Why are you talking like that? Like there's no TV that exists and there's only radio.
That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. So.
No, but why every time you got to quote me, you talk like that?
Because when you try to paint a picture of me in a way that's not true, I have to retort and come back at you with the stuff that you do, which is true.
And sound like you.
That does not sound like. And you know what? Does. To all the people that wrote in last week talking about, I enjoyed their imitation. No, it does not sound like it.
Well, I mean, hey, the proof
it does.
Is in the pudding, brother.
I'm gonna call your job and call out in your voice.
Oh God, please do that. That'll be the biggest, best rib ever. I would. Oh God, I want to see that. So bad.
And imagine they believe him too.
That'd be hilarious.
I would love to see that.
I don't sound like that, but shout outs to my guy Shine Poe, man. I just wanted to touch on that before it really made me. I sat there and watched that, and it made me feel good about hip hop, man. I was happy to see Shine, because you know Shine never got to do a lot of live performances because of the whole shooting, but I was very happy to see Poe on the stage, man.
Very good,
and actually not sound like trash. Yo, Rev,
Poe is very good.
Rev, if you get a chance at some point, check that performance out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, bro.
I'll check it out. I heard it was all right. I heard it got good reviews, but You know how people are sometimes. I still don't forgive the fans for crying over Jay-Z and Kanye West reunited on Kanye's album. So
And by the way, another shout out to the BET Awards. They gave my man Juvenile a set. So shout outs to them.
Awesome.
My man
Real good
Juvenile,
love
he
to get
performed
Juvie set.
twice because he performed it a cappella, and then they were like, because I guess they forgot to play the beat, so then they allowed him to do it again with the beat, and then he did slow motion and backed that thing up before he was done.
Awesome.
But now that brings us to Erik's sermon, where our own Rev Barber will have the floor. QG and I will let Rev talk about whatever he wants to talk about. So, Rev, you told me yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, that you had a lot to say about a certain topic. So, the floor is yours.
I'm still steaming over it. Verzuz, what a load of crap that was. With Omarion and Pretty Ricky or Pleasure P and
Ray J.
I was gonna get to him. Ray J and Mario and Sammy and whoever else was a part of this crap fiasco. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen on television. Why are these guys eating watermelons? Like, that's not seductive. That's sloppy. It's stupid. I asked a female friend of mine, I said, does this arouse you? She said, no, I think it's pretty stupid. And I agree. You bring your brother on stage, who nobody knows his name, Omarion, and you do this buffoonery just for what? For attention? Like, if you put as much energy as you did to doing this stupid watermelon thing you do, because I heard he does it on his Instagram too, into practicing, maybe you would have did better. And I've always said, and I think QG could definitely agree with me, and he might have been one of the people to say it too. These guys are studio singers. They're not Marvin Gaye. They're not Michael Jackson or Luther Vandross. No. They're not real singers. These are studio artists, and we saw that the night of the Verzuz. Unfortunately, we had to sit through that, or whoever it was took the time to wait for them too. That's another thing too. These guys were an hour late, and that's a huge problem I have with the Verzuz. Why are these guys always late? You know, people put aside their time and their things just to watch the Verzuz for their favorite artists. But shout out to Ghost and Ray. Those guys weren't late. I actually thought they were going to be late. So I left wherever I had to leave a little later. Then I actually had to watch it in the car. But, you know, that's another story. But everyone else has been late. This is unprofessional. And you guys wonder why there's no respect and they shun us of professionalism with hip hop. It's shit like this. Because you got these idiots. Ray J, I don't even know when the last time he sung. He went up there. I think me and him were on the same level.
What was he doing with that dance? And then he had his kid in his arm. And
wait, can I just make a point? Him singing "One Wish" off key with his baby in his hand is one of the most impressive things.
And blamed the baby.
I don't understand that at all.
How do you blame the baby?
He blamed the baby?
He blamed the baby for him singing off key and having a bad performance.
And then he got mad when the other three started singing it better than him. Well, I think it was Mario, Sammy, and Bobby Valentino. And I don't know what the hell he was doing there. I don't know if this was a 106 in Park All-Star game or... Oh,
that's exactly what.
But it was crap. It was a waste of time.
Yo, that's. Oh man, Rev, I think you muted yourself by accident, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got so worked up over this stupid shit.
That was Ray J.
Sorry for anybody
that was Ray J. Ray J.
who had to sit through this. And endure this crap. I actually caught the highlights, which actually made me divulge into it more to see more of this madness. Verzuz, y'all got to do better. Jadakiss, he killed Verzuz. He ruined the Verzuz for everybody. He just did too good of a job. Him, the Locks, they set the bar way too high. And that's the thing. I thought that it would inspire other artists, other MCs, any performers to do better after that Locks performance. Because after that, and you got to go on stage after that, you better bring everything you have. But these guys are dancing like idiots and eating watermelons and holding babies, and it was complete crap.
It was
Swiss
a
Tim,
circus up there, man.
yeah, Swiss Timberland, please for either end the verses or come with the new approach or do it viral again.
You
Yeah.
know what? I think that when they started to do verses in arenas, that's where it became the issue. I like verses when it first started in the pandemic. You got
Yeah,
two
So did I.
guys in the studio together, like DMX and Snoop were in the studio together,
Yeah.
or you do it
Ray and
like
Ghost did that.
or, yeah, Ray and Ghost did that, or you do it like how they did it when they first started. Like Manny Fresh and Scott Storch were in two different locations, and they did it via Zoom or some Zoom type interface.
Yeah. Primo and RZA did that too.
But
Same
when
thing.
they moved to venues like Madison Square Garden and this arena and that arena, I think that's what killed it. Even the way that now say what you want, but even who was it? Who did the Isley Brothers versus Q?
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right. So when the Isley Brothers did Earth, Wind, and Fire, say what you want about Steve Harvey ruining it with all that talking. But even if they did it that way, I don't mind. There was no big arena, there was no audience, it was just them. You know?
Yeah.
And I think the original and to go off Rev and to even add to what Rev is saying, I think what also hurt Versus went from a hits battle to who could rock the crowd better. And I think
Right.
that's what also hurt Versus because the object of Versus is to play your best hits, not try to move a crowd. Because even though we all agree the Locks destroyed Dipset, it was a lot of that was based on crowd reaction too.
And it's
So
different with R&B too, because like what Rev said, these studio singers, when you're on stage, you have to sing. You have to perform. And a lot of these guys can't perform.
I gotta say something real quick though. But Rev, you're a real comedian though, because when I saw that clip of Ray J dancing and you put the Sanford and Son music over that shit,
yeah.
yo, I
It
was on
worked
the
like a
crowd.
charm. It worked
Oh man,
perfect.
I laughed so hard
It
I
made it
couldn't
a
breathe.
little better, a little bit.
Hmm.
Oh Jesus, but nah, man, I agree with you. I think it's time to give it up for Versus because other than that, the other issue with Versus is you got guys who the fans want to see, but some of these guys have no interest in doing Versus. We'll
True.
never get some of the big marquee matchups that we want. I don't think Nas will ever do a Versus. Jay-Z will definitely never do a Versus. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And
50
the
Cent
people
will
that
never
want,
50 Cent will
you're
never
right.
do a Versus.
But the
Like,
people that want them, they can't even find opponents. Busta Rhymes said he'd do it, and LL said he would do it.
and then here's the other thing, right? Look at ever since Dipset versus Locks, look at the verses we've been getting. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Bone Thugs and I like 3-6 Mafia, but did I necessarily want to see them go at it? Absolutely not. So
Especially in that way, in that type of atmosphere. That stage was way too crowded. There was too much going on up there. You saw the fight that broke out afterwards. Thankfully, they settled it. It was just too much. And then you had the Cypress Hill and Onyx thing. They got played
No
wrong.
one even saw it.
No one even saw it. And they
what
spoke
was the
out about that.
what was the
Onyx and
issue
them.
to why nobody saw it?
They used
It was on pay per
them.
view.
They used them for a boxing event,
All right, that's
like a
right.
halftime show. Like you don't do that. Not to them.
Yeah, because isn't Triller promotes boxing, but they also promote verses.
Yeah. And then you had 8 Ball and MJG against UGK. That kind of just came and went.
And why would I want to see that when Pimp C is not even here?
There you go.
Like, I don't know. I think it's time to end it for Versus. Versus was a good idea during the pandemic when everybody was sitting at home and nobody had any form of live entertainment. But I think now that the world is returning to normal or has already returned to normal, I think I think it should be done. I don't.
Rev Candyman knows the one that I want to see, but he still goes on and on and on about the beef. I think
Bro,
this would make.
I even
I
sent you
think
the
this would
video,
make.
bro, that
Rev,
explained it.
hear me out, Rev. Hear me out, Rev. Hear me out, Rev. I think this would be the biggest, best versus ever. And the proceeds could go to New Orleans and help people with their housing, schools, education. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I
Yeah, but
get
bro,
that it won't happen. I
you know how
get that it
street shit
won't
is. They
happen.
don't think of the
And
bigger
that
picture,
is and
bro.
that's the sad part. That part I'm very, very sad about because look at all the stuff that goes on in Louisiana. Rev, don't you think a Cash Money No Limit versus could do something for the community?
I think it would be great.
It would be fantastic. I get the beef. They're not gonna do it, but
Too
still,
many,
that's
too
still
many.
sad, bro.
And then you know what it is? It's not even the artists. It's the people in the entourage. Too many people. Too many
Yeah,
people on each side don't fuck with each
Correct.
other. And at the
Correct.
time, and they had Birdman's brother on Vlad TV all week last week, and he even
Slim.
said it. The reason why the two sides never worked together was because there was too much animosity in the streets, and you had people on each side who would have killed each other had they met up. So,
That's stupid.
hey man, listen. You know the streets sometimes don't make sense, and the streets don't love nobody. So it is what it is. I would
Yeah,
love
that's
to see it, but
unfortunate.
it's never gonna happen. But as far as Rev's point, like I think they should shut Versus down. It's time. I think it's run its course. I think I
Yeah,
think
Yeah,
Versus I think Versus has
I
run
agree.
its course.
I agree.
But oh man, well, we gotta have editions of Eric's sermon more often because Rev. I'm not the only one that could go on a rant. But But yeah, man, I agree. I think Versus has run its course. I mean, Rev, let me ask you, since you feel so strongly about this, if they were able to pull it off, what Versus matchup do you think could save the concept of Versus, if at all? Or do you
I
not think there's no saving it?
I actually would love to piggyback off of QG's suggestion. I feel like if they did that, right? Because Cash Money and No Limit are hit makers, and you see the reunion tours, they bring a lot of people out.
Hmm.
So because the hip hop world is bigger than New York, and I respectfully say that, me being from New York. So, and people in the Midwest, people in the West, people in the South would love to see that. People, I feel like, would
Hmm.
come out for that, especially if you have the main artist there. No crews, nothing. You keep those guys at home, or you keep those guys in the back, or whatever it is, not nowhere near. Honestly, in every performance, not just versus, anywhere, it only should be the artist on stage. No
Agreed.
security, nobody's friends, nobody's wives, nobody's kids, just the artist. I don't understand how the venue or the show promoter doesn't like enforce that rule. But if Cash Money and No Limit together would have, the ultimate face off like we've always wanted, just the hits, I think it would bring more attention back to it. Or you get like higher caliber of artists to do it. Say like a Jay-Z versus Eminem, or say like a Nas versus who has well, Rakim hasn't gone yet. So let's say Nas against Rakim. Like they need more top tier artists. I feel like they just been doing, like, with all respect due to the other artists, they just been doing like these little filler matchups, to
Hmm.
try to keep this thing afloat.
Yeah, they
Hmm.
just they just promote matches of people that they can get, pretty much.
Yeah. Because
Because
everyone, I feel like, has gotten greedy. No one's hungry. When during the pandemic and nobody had nothing to do, people were more hungry. But now they see it's something they could capitalize on. They're just they're doing it for the money.
Exactly.
as far as the Cash Money No Limit thing goes, I went to the No Limit reunion tour back in November in Nashville, Tennessee, and that place was sold out. There was not an empty seat in the whole place.
See?
So
Yes, sir.
people will come out
That's
for it. We just got to get BG out of jail first, because you can't have just let his verse of bling bling play over the loudspeaker. So
yeah.
I think
It'd
they
be
should.
nice. It would be nice to have him out for sure.
Well, he's scheduled to get out of prison in 2 years. So if verses is still a thing by then, God willing.
All right. All
Hope
right.
so.
Yeah, man. But on that note, folks, if you got any episode suggestions or anything that you want to hear, even if you got questions, or I'm a free agent now and it's Hoochie Daddy Summer, so I'm looking for a hot girl. So you send an email. raplabpod@gmail.com. Hit us up in the DMs on Instagram, raplabpod. Tweet us at raplabpod. Shout outs to the people on Twitter, because I see y'all are liking these posts like crazy. Got my goddamn phone chiming at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning. But I appreciate the love. But yeah, so next couple of weeks, we taking your suggestions. Any episodes or topics that you want us to discuss, send them on over. And James from England, we'll get to you. Don't worry. But folks, that's been another episode of the Rap Lab. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget, August 6th, Project Codename Wrestling Rap Lab will be in the building. Come out and see First Class with Miguel Sosa, TJ Marconi, Astro Morales. All those guys will be in the ring. I know Rev will probably tell me don't be in my mouth, but it is what it is. But yeah, man. So all right, Rap Lab is out. We see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Welcome to the Rap Lab. Welcome to the Rap Lab. Welcome to the Rap Lab.